don't need to add a chair. There's no, we don't need to add a chair. There's an extra chair. We have an extra one.
Yeah, this is great.
Great.
Seeing that it's 6 o'clock, would everyone please join in a moment of silence?
Prior to that, I will make a motion to name Mark as Mayor Pro Tem for this meeting.
I'll second that.
I wouldn't listen.
Name Mark Mayor Pro Tem tonight to run the meeting.
Trustee Clayton?
Second.
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Van Horst?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
For the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we open it up to public comment, I wanted to address a couple of things. I know one of the major portion of these meetings discussions have been in regard to the dispatch situation, and in talking with board members and talking about the budget, I think it's safe to say that the dispatchers will remain in the budget, and it's safe to say going forward that they're a value-added service to the community. And it was pertinent information that we received from the police department, as well as members of the dispatch and Sangamon County in coming to this decision. And I say going forward, the things that went into people's minds, I think, were public safety and officer safety as well. We look forward to continuing that service in the village of Chatham. I also want to address one other thing, and I think everyone up here on the board is in favor of citizen involvement and the contributions that citizens make by being active and vocal in these board meetings. However, in discussing this with fellow board members, we have to clean up some of the public comment, and I mean that in the sense that if you'd like to state your issue or concern, by all means you are free to do so. We ask that you approach the board for the microphone's sake and state your name as well. And you're doing this to make a statement for the record. I don't believe it's a place to engage in debate with one or two or three or four, or the whole board as trustees, but more importantly to voice your concerns. And I think those debates can be left for public hearings or also individual meetings or discussions with trustees. But I think that's important as we go forward, because we do need to conduct professional meetings here, and we need to conduct efficient meetings. And going forward, I'd like to let the audience know that we need to adhere to these rules. So I'll open it up for public comment.
Thank you, Mark. My name is Les Morgan. I'm with the Chatham Veterans Memorial Committee. This year is going to be the 15th anniversary of our memorial on the square. And so we formed a committee to come up with some fundraising ideas and things so that it doesn't come out of the budget. And we feel that as the veterans organizations of Chatham American Legion and Chatham VFW, it's our responsibility to take care of our memorial that our village has allowed us to build. And so therefore we'll be doing some fundraising things in the future. We'll be taking sponsorships. We'll be doing ads for an anniversary booklet that we're going to be putting together. Some of the future goals that we have for the memorial is, I don't know if any of you have seen it, but on the west side, we're finally laying bricks on the west side. So that's been 15 years coming. And then I noticed this past weekend at the homecoming that our railings have been kind of battered up. The bricklayer informed me that there's some repairs that need to be done. So we're planning on doing some fundraising for that. We I've always wanted to put some lights around the memorial, Civil War era type lights. We want to put some benches. We don't know if it's going to be 2 or 4, but planning on putting some benches for those that want to sit there for meditation or whatever. And then eventually a bandstand in the northwest corner to coincide with the gazebo, only make it a bigger one. I don't know if any of you have seen the gazebo in Auburn Square, and then out at the Ethnic Village. But these are all things that are future things that we'll be fundraising money for. So just thank you. And mark on your calendar November 11th, 2015, our 15th anniversary. And these are some of the shirts that we'll be taking for a $20 donation, small, medium, large, extra large. $25 donation is a 2 extra larger. So
Les, what was that date again for the
Sure.
anniversary?
November the 11th, 2015. Is there any questions? Thank you.
Additional public comment?
I'm Kathy McNeil, and I'm a citizen here in Chatham. I know there were other budget cuts that were proposed, and I'm not sure the status of those. And so, to try to follow the rules here, I think one of the positions that were proposed to be cut was the Chief Fiscal Officer position. And this person, I feel, is a very valued member to our village. They're responsible for managing financial risk, for financial planning and financial reporting to the administration. And it's a key position and it must remain filled. Whether it's a local government or a for-profit or nonprofit organization, somebody needs to be keeping track of the money. And my understanding was that possibly this position would be resourced out. And the comments that I want to make are that before we outsource this position, I think that we need to know which accounting firm is going to be contracted for this position. We need to know how this accounting firm is going to be selected. We need to know the fee schedule associated with this. And we need to know who's going to perform the other tasks that this particular position performs besides just keeping track of the money. And if we don't have the answers to these questions, I don't believe it's time to cut anybody's position. I'm not convinced we're in a financial fiscal crisis, and maybe that's old news because that was a couple Chatham Clarions ago, but I'm not convinced that we're in a position in a financial crisis that we need to be letting go our Chief Fiscal Officer. And in regards to the administrative technology position, I can't imagine where we'd be without what we've had to this day. Technology's advanced tremendously in the past 20 years. It's growing exponentially now. In the future is something that none of us in this room could even fathom. So I do believe that without this position being filled, our village will be left behind. And it's only a matter of time before federal and state funding that the village does receive is going to be more dependent on accountability measures that you can only measure through technology, such as GIS. I know that we have that now, but there's constant advancements in technology being made. And if we don't keep up, we're going to be left behind. We're going to end up losing out on future federal and state funds if we don't keep up. So again, I'm opposed to eliminating this position as well. And I just, as a citizen, do not see where we're in a financial crisis that we need to eliminate this position. And from my understanding, this position is more than just technology. There's a lot of other roles and duties that this particular person takes on. And until this board as a whole knows what those are and understands what those are, I don't believe they're doing their due diligence to the citizens if they go through with these cuts. I'm glad to hear that they've reversed their proposal on cutting the Chatham dispatch. I do feel a little bit more safe. But I do implore this board to perform their due diligence and bring specific projects forward to the public before making any cuts of any kind, again, just for the mere purpose of having money set aside, and especially money set aside for unidentified projects that don't have cost estimates associated with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional public comment?
I'd like to rebut a little bit.
Andrea, if you don't mind, would you mind coming up to the microphone?
They might see me. My name is Andrea Parker, and I've lived in Chatham for over 30 years. And contrary to what this young lady here would like to put out for us, we are in serious financial trouble. We have $55 million worth of serious financial trouble that we are going to have to pay. And at the end of it, we don't even get anything for it. It's just a big, big bill. And we are up to here in debt. Thank you.
Any additional comment?
My name's Teresa Osborne, just an average citizen from Chatham. I want to speak to several issues, but I'm probably, in the interest of time, going to defer to future meetings. But I appreciate the board's considering, and the village attorneys, new village attorneys, considering the conduct of the meetings. I think this is an excellent idea to enable honest, straightforward debate and discussion about important issues, such as budget, that you guys face. I wanted to thank whoever invited, and also thank Sagacity, the representatives from Sagacity that came last week. And I don't know, Jerry, I don't know if she was instrumental in that, but I just think that that's a good example. To me, it was an excellent example of how discussion and debate can help you guys in making the correct and best, I shouldn't say correct because it's not necessarily correct, but the best decisions for the entire village of Chatham, and not just a certain segment. That my understanding from Jerry's post on social media was that because of that, you were able to get through the current agent the same coverage at a lower cost. Is that, I hope that's correct, you don't have to answer this. I don't know that I'm allowed questions, but I hope that that is true, and if that is true, that's just another, like I said, example of how I think that's a great idea, and how I think we need to have honest, non-confrontational debate in our community. Thank you.
Additional comment? Seeing none, we'll move forward with the consent agenda. Can I have a motion for
Make a
consideration?
motion to put the consent agenda up for vote.
Second.
Who was the second, please?
Any discussion on the warrants or the minutes? The only thing that I know, there's the Green and Bradford bills that are proposed in this in these warrants, bills that have been previously pulled. I know we talked about that from a standpoint of whether or not they were a necessity, or whether or not they were previously approved. And I think this will be addressed going forward with the 0940 village manager ordinance about purchasing items outside of the annual appropriation. But since the services were performed, it really leaves us no choice but to pay the warrants. Any further discussion? Clerk Stab, would you take the votes?
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
Josie?
Yes.
Glenn Horace?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
I have nothing to report from Mayor Gray. Clerk Shedd, I understand you have a report.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the Attorney General responded to Mr. Jarrett's complaint about me not attending committee meetings, and doing committee meeting minutes. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but the bottom line is that they found that the Public Safety Committee was in violation of the Open Meetings Act.
Well, and just to clarify here, I don't think they gave an opinion on whether or not you were to attend the meetings. It was whether or not minutes were taken.
That's correct.
And I know we went back and forth about whose responsibility it is, and I know there's missing meeting minutes from committees for an extensive amount of time, but I think going forward, I think we've solved the issue with going to committee of the whole, and offering the recording as well, and having minutes document. So going forward, I don't see that that's going to be a problem.
Shouldn't be.
Anything further?
No, thank you.
Moving on to old business, I don't think the approval of the drainage project on Oxford is not ready. Also, the ordinance pertaining to nuisance vegetation rubbish, I don't think is prepared. They're not in a position to pass the FY16 budget.
What's holding that drainage back?
Shane in the building.
Just so that
Dell, you know?
They were trying to get the easement completed with the trust. I believe it's been completed now, just got to get the paperwork, Shane's working on getting the paperwork done for the cost
Okay.
of the easement.
What is the projected date? Do you know?
Well, they'll now wait till the crops are out before they do
Okay.
the fall.
Fall, just because there's people asking.
I talked with Mr. Lewis
Harry?
this afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
Also, the ordinance regarding the position of village manager, the 0940, and like I said, I'm still conferring with the mayor on some of those responsibilities. And an ordinance regarding the position of village attorney, I believe we're just waiting for a contract, I think.
Yeah, we'll provide an engagement letter. The board's already made that approval, so we'll just provide an engagement letter.
Jeff, will the mayor have the authority to sign that letter? Or do you need a motion from the board? to give him the authority?
Typically with the appointment, that's all that's necessary, but we can certainly, I don't know that the council's seen a document with all the specific terms all in one place, so we can bring that forward just for a motion vote at a future meeting. Make sure it's what they understand it to be.
I think Kurt and Pat's going to be best in.
And Dell, can you contact Scott Keynes? Because I think if we're going to do one for Sterling, we probably need to do one for Mr. Keynes as well.
Moving on to new business. First is an ordinance approving the location and sketch map for Spartan Valley. This has been discussed for some time now, and through the Planning Commission and through the appropriate channels. Do I have a motion to put this on the table?
Pat, ordinance number
23.
1523, I'll make it.
Do we have a second?
second.
Who was it, you gave me the first?
Any discussion?
I know there was questions concerning drainage and how it impacted with CWLP. Was that all worked out?
They have to prepare a drainage plan when they start each plat, so we'll work out each one individually as they plat through it. They have an overall drainage plan, but they need a detailed one for each plat as they go through it. So when they prepare the construction drawing, that'll all be taken care of for each individual plat.
Okay. So then we still have, the planning commission will still have to review those drainage, the
Our
drainage
engineers
plans.
review the construction drawings as well as the planning commission as well as the village board.
Very good.
In the road,
The road is still up in the air.
is it?
We have not heard from the city of Springfield on the jurisdictional transfer.
So if we don't get the jurisdictional transfer, how does that impact this development?
If we don't get the jurisdictional transfer, Mr. Christopherlakis will have to approach the village, or the city of Springfield, on what requirements they have for access from that road.
Okay, and what if the city says no? Then where does that leave this development?
Mr. Flacus may have to do the work himself and pay for it, if he so chooses to move forward.
Then that would change the sketch of them, wouldn't it?
I don't think they'll deny him access to the area. It's just what are they going to require for him to do an improvement out there on Woodhaven? Or what type of a fee to have access from that road from the city of Springfield? I think they have a formula that they use for frontage along a piece of property. But that's something that he'll have to address with the city of Springfield. I don't know the rules.
What do you think, Joe?
I mean, if is it something that he's ready to move with right now, or is it something that we can get some of these answers to before maybe the next meeting within three weeks?
I'll disagree with you, Joe. I think the issues on Woodhaven Road don't impact us. It's not our street, and so it's no different than when they did Spartan Sports Park. They have to work out the entrance and egress with whoever has jurisdiction on the street.
And that
Right
was
now,
the county at that time.
Yeah, on the sports park, it was the county, so we still approve the land. The access comes off of the county road at that point. This is the same situation
Correct.
right now. They're just, and that's between the developer and the city of Springfield, how they get access to it. It doesn't do anything with regards to what we're
So the
looking at.
the whole road is,
It's Springfield's road.
but I think, I know what Joe's saying is the concern is there is a lot of traffic down that road already that we will,
But it's not our road. We can't force a
Right.
developer to do something to a road that's not ours.
Correct.
I know, but it still affects
what-
the community.
My concern though is, and I agree with you, Dave, but my concern is if we're approving a sketch map and then we find out he doesn't have access,
Then he has to amend his sketch map.
then the
before he
sketch
can do
map
anything
is,
further.
yeah.
Correct, Jeff?
So that's why I'm saying, do we want to go ahead and approve a sketch map, which may or may not be valid?
It would be valid with us.
It's valid with us, yeah.
Yeah.
But he may have to amend it.
Which gives him the
He has-
ability to continue his project without us getting in the way of what ifs between him and the city of Springfield. One way or another, before he can build a house, he's got to work out access off that
I
road.
agree.
So-
And I want to see this project move forward. But I want to make sure that when we approve this, that this is the,
If he has to change his sketch map to meet requirements from the city of Springfield, then he'll bring that back through the planning commission and back through the board again. But I don't think I would throw up a roadblock now, let him proceed, and if he runs into a roadblock from the city of Springfield, then we'll react to it.
I don't think this is our issue.
I don't know. We can move forward with it.
Well, I think even if we move forward with it, we still have that, in that access isn't granted, we still have the ability to adjust for that as well.
Well, it'd have to be adjusted. That's
Right.
And that's exactly my point.
But if, say that the access is not a problem, then as it stands here, it shouldn't be an issue. I mean, I still think we can account for the issue that you're concerned about.
The jurisdictional transfer comes to us. We have guidelines on what type of road he needs to repair out there.
Correct, yeah.
If it doesn't, Springfield has guidelines on what he has to do to have access to that property.
As long as Springfield grants the access.
Yes.
Which they may or may not do. Yeah. That's my concern.
This is but one step in their whole process that they've got to get through.
Well, is everyone good with proceeding, or do we want to table it?
I don't see why we can't proceed, yeah.
Yes.
Pat, would you take the vote?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Trustee Kimsey?
Yes.
Trustee Linghorst?
Yes.
Trustee Mao?
Yes.
And Trustee Stillman?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 1524 approves the preliminary plan for Spartan Valley development. Make a motion, put 15-24 on the table.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Could be the same thing that we just had, so don't need to repeat it.
Pat, would you take the vote?
Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Linghorst?
Yes.
Mao?
Yes.
And Stillman?
Yes.
Joe, did you want to present the electric rate schedules?
Nope.
Prevailing
Or
wage?
prevailing wage, I'm sorry.
Yes, this is the prevailing wage ordinance number 25. Every year, it is required through state statute that municipalities post their prevailing wage, so that's what this does. We've been approving it every year that I've been on the board, and so I put this on the floor for your consideration.
I'll second.
Discussion. Pat, would you take a vote?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Linghorst?
Yes.
Mao?
Yes.
And Stillman?
Yes.
Next up is the electric rate structure.
15-26 events the process by which we set rates, allows for the implementation of the rate schedules that we discussed last week.
That's first.
Second.
Who's the second?
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none. Pat, would you take the vote?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Linghorst?
Yes.
Mao?
Yes.
Stillman?
Yes.
Next up is approving the electric rate schedule.
Pat, resolution number.
The first one we did was the resolution, is that correct?
We did the ordinance, 1526 was the ordinance, this is the resolution.
26 is the electric rate schedule.
That's the ordinance.
Okay.
This is the resolution.
Now you're doing the resolution. Got it. Now that'll be 15-28, I believe. Yeah.
1528. Resolution to set the electric rates per the ordinance we just passed.
It's 28-15, by the way.
2850. Thanks, Pat.
Dave made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion. I think that we talked about this last year, is adjusting our rates, I guess, in conjunction with the wholesaler. As the wholesaler charges us more, we need to adjust those rates to ensure that we do have adequate liquidity in this fund, and to ensure that we have enough funds to move forward with some of the challenges with improving our electrical system, as well as any emergencies as well. And that is here primarily reflects the change in the wholesale rate.
It's the right timing. It's a long schedule.
It's slowly going.
Hang on, I'll find the basic. Standard residential service is 11.02 cents a kilowatt hour. The entire schedule is published up here, depending on the type of service you have: commercial, residential, phased, non-phased, metered, non-peak. It's an extensive schedule.
And just to piggyback on what Mark's saying, I mean, if we don't do this, it comes out of the operating budget, and that's not something we're trying to do at this point. We're trying to be more responsible and make sure that we're paying our bills from the correct budget lines, instead of keep pulling from other departments, which we did in the last couple of years, and it's affecting our community.
I do, and we talked about this before the meeting, I do think, because as this is written, It's effective immediately, right?
The ordinance we passed previously provides for notification. We used to do all of our rates by ordinance, now with notification by resolution. That cleans up incorporating the way that these rate changes.
Because all that I'm saying is I'd like to, if we could make it effective August 1st.
That's what it is.
It is.
Yeah, the
The
rates.
water and electric both effective August 1st?
And sewer. Yes.
Good.
August 1st.
All the new rates will go into effect.
Good.
Any further discussion? Pat, would you take the vote?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Lenhorst?
Yes.
Now?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the next up is amending the code of ordinance for the sewer rate structure.
All right, ordinance 15-27, amends the process by which water rates and charges established set forth in the village code of ordinance. All motion for that considered.
We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
This incorporates all the changes that we discussed in hour 4 of last week's committee meeting.
Any further discussion?
I think I can say the same thing again about this. Again, we
Yes.
have to be responsible.
Pat, would you take the vote?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Lenhorst?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
And Sparrow?
Yes.
And I think too, one thing to remember about the sewer rate schedule is that's reflective of the changes made by the sanitary district. And as those charges went up, again, we have to reflect those charges. Next up is the code of ordinance for water treatment.
Hang on. This one. Resolution 2915 establishes the water rates for the village per the ordinance that we just passed. A motion for that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Excuse me, this is sewer rates or water rates?
This is a resolution establishing water rates for the village of Chatham, 29-15.
Did,
Notice.
What about sewer rates?
Yeah, go out of order.
Yeah.
We just did the sewer
Sewer rate should be
ordinance, now we're ready for the
29-15.
sewer resolution.
Sorry.
need a resolution.
Sorry.
My stuff was out of order.
I'm trying to do that. 107.
So you want the sewer to be
Where's the sewer rate schedule we just did?
2915.
Right.
Gotcha. All right, resolution 2915 is establishing the sewer rates per the ordinance that we just passed. Say something.
Do you have a second?
Maybe.
Second, sorry.
Wait.
Discussion. Just discussed it, really. Clerk, shall we take the vote?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Lenhorst?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Yes.
Now we're on the ordinance regarding water rates.
Yes. I'll make a motion, 15-28, amending the process by which water rates and charges are established.
Do we have a second?
Second.
This sets the same procedure for establishing water rates as we just did for sewer and for electric.
Any further discussion? Clerk
I-
Shab, would you?
Well, I
Go
have
ahead.
one. You know, it's unfortunate that we have to do this with the water as we have continued to raise and adjust it. But I believe that what Dave proposed last meeting, that hopefully that will take, so we don't have to next fall see a $400,000 hole in this account. So, and Dave provided some good numbers and information, and, you know, I'm lucky to add 1 and 1 sometimes, but Dave's our accountant, so hopefully what he has come up with and Sherry, that we don't have to do this again.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. I think it's not something anybody wants to do. But I've had a couple accountants look at it and they're like, you have to do it. But with that said, I am very thankful for the community that has been working with this water group to help increase our quality of our water. They have been holding them accountable, and if whatever we have to do to accommodate that group as a board, as water commission, and who's on that, we need to continue to do that, because I have heard positive response, and I don't think enough has been said to that group that has really pushed forward and said, you need to provide better service for us. And we need to, as a board and as a part of the Water Commission, a representative, to continue to let them have that input. And if that comes to a part where that's not, communication is being halted by them, then we need to step up as a board and do something about our representation on the Water Commission.
And like I said last week too, I hope that down the road we can get to that area where we can start having refunds or rebates, and once everything is, once we have hundreds of thousands of customers and we're getting big and, we can get our numbers down, and, I hope we can eventually.
Further discussion? Clerk Shad, would you take the vote?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kinsey?
Yes.
Lenhorst?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
And finally, I'll make a motion for Resolution 29-16, sets the rates in accordance with the aforementioned ordinance.
That'll be 30.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just want to thank Dave. I think he did a great job on this. This is something that definitely needed to be done. We were relying, I remember back in 2009 when we had a discussion of raising water rates, and this was when we were with CWLP. And the reason we needed to raise water rates is because they raised it on us. And then that summer was a wet summer, and then we didn't use enough water. So because we conserved water, we had to raise rates. I think under Dave's plan, that doesn't happen anymore. And so that's exactly what we've wanted. I've wanted to see something like this for several years now, and I'm just glad that we're implementing this type of plan.
Appreciate that, Joe. A lot of this credit and a lot of the information that goes into doing something like this is due to hard work with Sherry and the staff.
Absolutely.
A tremendous amount of time that they put in to help get to a spot where we can make this kind of proposal. So while I appreciate credit, but to where it's due.
Absolutely. And Sherry, thank you very much. You did an awesome job on this.
Again, I just want to add, I do appreciate the staff and Dave putting in so much time for this. Last year, I believe the budget that we approved showed an excess of $4,200. And we were about $500,000 off of that number at the end of the year. And unfortunately, this is something that we have to pass to ensure this water fund is solvent. And also, it does change the rate structure that allows us to achieve this goal, especially in eliminating the variable with some of the climate, risks that we have in our water fund. But again, I think everybody here hates to have to pass this, but unfortunately, it's the only measure we can get to ensure that this fund is solvent.
I don't think any of us would mind paying more for water. I don't mind paying more for water if it was good water, and that's the problem we have. We still don't have good water.
Our water is just fine.
Again, we're getting off, we established rules at the beginning, I understand, but we're going to move forward with this. Is there any further discussion from the board? Pat, let's take the vote.
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kinsey?
Yes.
Lenhorst?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Scarlett?
Yes.
Moving on, just the schedule of the meetings. There's a special village board meeting July 7th at 6 p.m. here at Municipal Hall to discuss the Cardinal Ridge annexation, and committee meetings will be following that. Also, Public Properties and Recreation Commission will meet July 13th at 6 PM here as well. And again, our regular village board meeting will be July 14th.
Do we have anything with that road update on,
I think that's the language that was held up today, so that's.
okay, so that's why we're waiting, pushing back to that date.
I think they've submitted it to the engineers, now they're trying to get the attorneys trying to get.
We have a group that is really trying to be not more proactive and trying to make sure that there's a happy in between both places. Paul is actually here representing them, so I really want to make sure we.
That's the Harvey issue?
That, and then just the traffic through that subdivision of Fox Creek. So we need to make sure we're communicating with them on a regular basis, and actually, I think, Paul, you're putting it.
Not representing.
Yeah, you are. That's what happens when you come, you represent. So, just to help communicate with him on a regular basis of how that's doing, because he's doing a great job of communicating it.
I'm just a neighbor.
You're communicating it well.
Pat, you'll publish a notice on a special meeting.
Pardon me?
You'll publish a special meeting notice.
It's, yeah, I'll put it up with everything else. I just wanted to mention that before the special meeting starts, that there will be a public hearing.
And that will be in the Clarion this Thursday.
Yeah.
Council
That will.
public hearing
So
for it.
everything will be posted in advance, as it should.
So next Tuesday, you don't have to be here.
Yeah, next Tuesday we do not meet.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.